So you have a Windows 7 computer and you want to upgrade to Windows 10, but the computer won't let you. What do you do then? Well, it's harder than you think. Hello everyone, and welcome back to another super exciting episode of Robert Fix It. And we're gonna try and fix something every day. Probably can't, but that's the new goal. We're just gonna do something every day. Record it. This might be a long video, so walk the dog and make your popcorn before you watch this. And today I have a customer who has an older Windows computer, and her complaint is that she cannot upgrade to Windows 10. And so I'm going to record the entire process, which is why this might take a long time. I will do my best to cut out parts that aren't very interesting, but then again, usually the whole entire video is not interesting, so we can't delete the whole video, right? Just kidding. Anyway, so this is the first boot. Normally with a Windows 7 computer, and I haven't done this in 2 years, maybe 3 years. Normally the Windows 7 would upgrade itself to Windows 10. Even if you didn't want to, it would just do it. That happened to me several times. As much as I didn't want to upgrade to Windows 10, on some PCs, I just woke up in the morning and Windows 10 was installed. And just a little background, there was a period of time where people didn't even want to install Windows 10 and they would actually block it from installing. But fast forward many years later, you kind of have to have it for the security. You don't really want to use Windows 7 anymore unless you have some games or something that won't work in Windows 10. So here's what we're working with. This is a Windows 7 desktop, and it is an i3 2nd gen, 4 gigabytes of memory. It is a 64-bit setup. Windows is activated. So there's no reason why it shouldn't run Windows 10, because you can install Windows 10 on this kind of setup. And so what we're going to go for first is, generally speaking, going from Windows 7 to Windows 10, which is or was free. I have to make sure now because it's been so long, but back then the only thing that would really prevent you from upgrading to Windows 10 would be some sort of software. And so what I would do is I would remove that software which was preventing the upgrade, and then the upgrade would happen, and then usually you could put it back. I did go to Windows Update. Windows 10 Update was not even there, so I think I have to do it manually. So we'll see. First of all of this is what came up on the first boot. So regardless of the Windows 10 upgrade, I want to just remove these things. So I'll be back in a second. Adobe, I'm going to get rid of that. I'm not sure what this is. WinZip System Utilities Suite. So I'm going to get rid of that because that's like bloatware. And then this is asking to run webcam Dell. Dell webcam. So we don't need that either. So let's get rid of that and we'll be back. I'm just gonna kind of clean up the system first before we attempt to do the Windows, because none of this should be popping up on a first boot. So that's already a problem. So we'll be back in a moment. So those programs have been removed, and then I kind of forgot how to force the update. So let's do this first. I did a quick Google search just to familiarize myself. And so the first suggestion was to restart the Windows Update service, which is here. So we're going to go to restart. So it's restarting the service, and then we'll go to control panel. Let's restart Windows Update. So let's check for updates. I mean, we can force it, but I just want to see. I'm following this guide from this website to see if, oh wait, it's a touch screen. That's cool. Touch. I'm just curious to see if these steps that they listed were actually correct. Checking for updates. This computer's kind of slow. I think the hard drive is on its last leg. This is an all-in-one system, by the way. It's a Dell Inspiron 1, so it's just the whole computer's built into the screen. The reason why it's so dark in here is so that you can see the screen, and I'm just recording from my phone. So we'll probably speed this up a little bit because this could take some time. So the Windows Update Restart service did not work in this case. So we're going to try the next suggested tip, which is to do the command line update now. You probably can't really see it, but I'll type it right here. So it says wauclt.exe/update now, and let's see what that does. So there's an error code here. So this might be what the lady was complaining about. It's not even trying to install it. There's an error every time. So I still assume that there's some piece of software that's preventing this. So let me look into that and we'll be back. So that error that showed up, the 0083 whatever, it's an error that is related to you attempting to update something that's already been updated. So that's a driver issue. So I don't think that's related to the Windows 10. So let's see. The Windows 10. I'm so used to doing this from a USB drive. That's why I'm kind of having trouble here with trying to force the Windows 10 to update it, or the Windows 7 to update itself to Windows 10. Usually you just use a USB drive. So also this computer's in Spanish, which is not helping. So Windows 10 Upgrade Assistant. Okay, we're in English now, so that's good. And let's see. It's so slow. Okay, Update Assistant. Download the Update Assistant. So this is how we used to do it. You would download the assistant, it would download Windows, and it would update by itself. It's just very weird that it's... I wonder if there was a point in time at which they just turned off the automatic update because it's been so long. So this says create installation media using the tool. You will first need to have a license to install Windows 10. You can then download and run. Ah. So years ago, I mean, you would just download the tool, it would download Windows, and it would just update. But I've noticed recently that on the latest version of Windows 10 when I'm trying to install it into a computer, it won't even install unless you have a key. And there's a trick to get away around that. There's many videos about that, but I think there's not that many. There's a trick, because what happens is if the computer detects that you're on the internet, it'll ask you for the key. But if you're not on the internet, it doesn't ask you for the key. So that's one way to get around it, is just to unplug it from the internet. But when you're on Wi-Fi, that's hard to do. So there is another trick. It also works in Windows 11. And I think because people don't talk about that too much, I think I should make just a quick video about the bypassing the requiring the key part. Oh, here we go. So he says, we're not sure what happened. We're unable to run this tool on your PC. Yeah, this is a problem. And that's what she was talking about. She said she's tried many times to install Windows 10 and it's not letting her. So, oh boy. I might have to make a flash drive installer, upgrade installer, which is different than the regular one. So we're already almost an hour into the process and we're still not even close to being done. So let's, I wonder if it has something to do with the key. It says it's activated. Or maybe this just doesn't work anymore in 2024. But I have an installer USB, so let me find that. I'll be right back. All right, so after some digging, I found a Windows 10 installer USB. This is not a freshly made one. This is what I call compatible one. It's on a FAT system, not the NTFS. I just want to see if this will work. This is the one that I use to install Windows on Macs, so I'm not sure if this is going to work properly, but let's just try it and see what it says. It's probably not capable of upgrading. So let's see, Windows 10. Let's see. Yeah, see that the upgrade path is not supported. Please close setup and relaunch from the root of the media, or go back and pick a different installation choice. So what I need is an upgrade USB, not a fresh install USB. And I don't think I have one, and I guess it's not letting us download one. So this is gonna be quite a process here. Let's try Pro. See what that does. This upgrade path is not supported. Because it has to be from... You have to upgrade from what you had before, so that's the problem. I ran into this before, long time ago, and what I did was I upgraded from Windows 7 to Windows 8, and then upgraded. From there I went to Windows 10, because the computer wouldn't, for some reason it just wouldn't take Windows 10. I don't even know why at the time. So I said, okay, well, if you won't take Windows 10, take Windows 8. And then once you take Windows 8, then it went to 10. And it took, hours. It probably took half a day to install everything. So, all right, we're gonna take a break here and regroup, because I'm a little bit stuck right now. So I couldn't get anything to work, and the only thing I could think of was to upgrade Windows 7. It had Windows 7 Home, and so what I did is I typed in a Windows 7 Pro key to allow to upgrade to Windows 7 Pro, and hopefully that will do something. I don't know, I uninstalled every program I could think of on this, and it still won't upgrade. So I'm just hoping that if we upgrade the Windows organically from Home to Pro, maybe that'll let us upgrade to Windows 10. So we'll see. Also, I did try to put the Windows 8 on, and that didn't work either. So it's kind of stuck right now, but we'll see if this works, and we'll be right back. So here's the Windows 8 installation, which also did not work, but I found something where it said if you click on this file called install prep, it will let you install Windows 8. And so I'm going to do that. I just have to put in the key. Here we are. So we finally were able to get out of Windows 7. I don't know why I was stuck. I think someone disabled the updates. That's the only thing I can think of, is somebody somehow turned off the ability to update because nothing would work. But luckily I found the thing I showed you. I couldn't do it from Windows 10 because that file wasn't on Windows 10 in my installer. So I did it from Windows 8. So we are now, this is Windows 8.1. Looks like it's going to be a success. We just have to make sure that hopefully it didn't erase all the files. So now that Windows 8 is installed, 8.1 actually, I'm now able to run the Windows 10 upgrade tool. Not sure if it'll work yet, but it will at least download it. The only thing is, I'm not sure why, but going from 7 to 8, for some reason erased the programs that were on here. The data's still there, like the pictures and documents and stuff, but the software's gone. So I'm not sure why, because it was supposed to be an upgrade, but I guess it made it a fresh install, but it did keep the data. So kind of messed up there, but yeah, always make sure you back up your files. You know, at this point I could have just installed Windows 10 fresh and just copied the files over. It would have been much easier instead of doing it the hard way. But yeah, let's see if this install works, and we'll be back in a second. Some sort of error here. Dynamic update. So it didn't work. All right, I think we're gonna try to just do more Windows 8 updates and then try again. So we're trying again. This time I used the command line instruction to force the update, which I'll show a picture of here on the bottom. And it wouldn't let you, same thing with Windows 8, it will not let you update without putting in a key, which is a new thing. But you can use any key. It doesn't have to be a good key. So any key you find online, it's not going to activate Windows, but it'll at least just let you get to the next screen. So let's see if this works, or is it going to have the same error message. Okay, looks like we made it. This has to be one of the hardest installations I've ever done. Here we have Windows 10 upgraded from 7 to 8 to 10. And really shouldn't have done it this way. I just now, the thing is, when it wouldn't install at first, I was trying to prove a point that I could upgrade from Windows 7 to Windows 10. And the fact that it wouldn't work, it was kind of upsetting me. So then I went too far. But I mean, this took so long. The Windows 8 took hours. The Windows 10, I started the installation, I think at lunchtime, and now it's like 5 o'clock and it just finished. And I lost all the programs. So, not ideal, but I just wanted to show that it was possible. you really, especially with a computer this old, should just go ahead and copy all of the files onto another hard drive, a flash drive or something, and then just install Windows 10. Now, back in the olden days, I guess you could call it, the advantage of upgrading from 7 to 10 is that your key would carry. So whatever key you had in Windows 7, you could use that for Windows 10. It's been so long now that I don't know if that works anymore. And then in order to install Windows 8, I had to put in a different key. So now this isn't even the correct key. And then when I put in the Windows 10, I had to put in another Windows 10 fake key. So this is absolutely not the correct key. And so we'll see if it's possible to use the old key anymore. I don't know. So as far as the activation of Windows, that's another subject. We won't talk about that this time. Technically, you should be able to use your Windows 7 key for Windows 10. That's how I used to do it, but it's been a couple of years since I've done this, and I think maybe that's not the case anymore. So you can see it says Windows is not activated. Nice thing is the touchscreen still works, so that's good. So, I mean, it was kind of a success, not really, because we lost all the software in the process. So I'm a little bit disappointed about that, but the documents are there, the pictures are there, all that stuff, and the customer will be very happy. This is, like I said, I have to guess, probably took 8 to 10 hours to do. I mean, I did it, but it was a long process. A lot of it was it just kind of doing it by itself, so it's not like I was sitting there for that long, but yeah, this ranks up there with one of the harder ones that I've ever worked on. And so yeah, and then the charge, I said it was going to be $25 to do the upgrade because I thought it was going to be easy. But I promised them that they wouldn't have to pay more than $50. So $50 is the charge today for this upgrade from Windows 7 to Windows 10, even though it took several hours. But I was able to document the process, and now I see that it's just not that easy anymore. And so hopefully this will help others who are getting stuck. So just to recap before we go, the Windows installer service was not activated. So that was step number 1 to get it to upgrade. Number 2, even though I activated the installer, it still wouldn't upgrade. And so I had to manually start the upgrade from Windows 8 using the thing that I showed you. And I assumed that after Windows 8 was installed that it would automatically upgrade to Windows 10. But once again, I had to manually do the command for Windows 10 to upgrade. Hopefully now that it's all done, we won't have this problem anymore. This computer is pretty old, so I don't think, I mean, it's not going to go up to Windows 11 anyway. But for the customer, this is all they have. And you would think, well, say, well, why are you doing all of this for this computer, which is probably worth like, you know, 20, 30 bucks. The thing is, this is the only computer that person has. They were happy with it. They just wanted Windows 10. They want the security updates and everything, and which will expire in what, October, November. But that's that's the kind of point that I make about these things is, you would say, well, why don't you just get another computer? You know, for all the hours you would spend doing all of this, why can't you just buy a computer for 50 bucks or 60 or whatever? And honestly, I could have sold them a computer for $50 instead of fixing theirs. But this is their computer. It's an all-in-one with the touch screen. That's all they have. They're happy with it, and it's not for me to judge or say that you need a new computer when the old computer works fine and they're happy with it. So another happy customer, and we'll see you on the next one.